Welcome to the first ever edition of Heating Up Podcast. I'm Dan Smith. This is Sean Hart.
What's going on, everybody?
And we're going to be hosting you guys for tonight and hopefully for many podcasts after this one.
Agreed.
So, Sean, you want to let them know what we're talking about here?
Yeah, so tonight we got some mock draft stuff for the upcoming NBA draft. Some talk about David Price and his antics with the Boston media. What else am I missing? Oh, the MLB All-Star Game update and Warriors Cavs.
All right.
That's all. I think I got it all right.
I think so.
All right.
We got a pretty full plate. Let's start things off. We're going to go with the NBA mock draft. A lot of takes on this hovering around. We're going to give you ours. We kind of threw them together. So we'll just go pick by pick.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so, probably for the Celtics, we probably both have Markelle Fultz.
Yeah, that's kind of a given.
I don't think that that's going to be any different on a lot of people's mock drafts at this point. He appears to be a lock.
Yeah.
But on the Lakers, I know we're different, right? You have Lonzo.
I got Lonzo. I don't think they're
see, I don't think they're as impressed with Lonzo Ball they originally thought they were going to be. So I haven't taken De'Aaron Fox. I think that they're not thrilled with Russell's progression so far.
Hello?
What's up?
You kind of just glitched out for a second.
I don't think that they would take they would take another guard because they're not going to take a forward. They have Tatum, and there's no big man worthy of taking this high. And so they might move on from Russell and look to get some other pieces. So that's why I think De'Aaron Fox, but I know you don't agree with that.
I think that's kind of the same. That's the same reason they'll take Lonzo. I think they're just trying to get kind of goad the Celtics into trying to take him, I don't know, out of taking Markelle Fultz. Because, the guy's an animal. He's 6'6". He's lanky. He's got a fat wingspan. So, something you don't see. I don't know. I think they're going to probably move Russell to the 2 guard after taking Lonzo and let him start right off the gate. They got a young team.
Oh, no, definitely. I don't think it's unreasonable to say that they would take Lonzo. I just don't think they're as impressed with them as they initially thought they were going to be.
Fair enough. So you got De'Aaron Fox. I got Lonzo. Who do we have for the 76ers?
I have Josh Jackson. Small forward from Kansas, because the 76ers appear to want to run Ben Simmons in like a point forward style. And Josh Jackson would be – I guess they would go Lonzo, but I think that they probably would – I don't know. See, I think Josh Jackson's just a better fit for Philly than Lonzo is.
All right. I also have Josh Jackson, but I also have Lonzo going second to the Lakers. I just think I agree with every point you made. He's
just athletic. I think Josh Jackson could actually be the best prospect in the draft class, but he won't go 1.
See, I disagree with that. I think Markelle Fultz is definitely the best. That's why he's going number 1. It's really not a question in my mind.
That's fair.
Yeah, but Josh Jackson definitely has a lot of upside. The guy killed it at Kansas. Him and Frank Mason tore it up. So I think the 76ers are getting kind of what they want. They got a lot of guys to help develop, like Joel Embiid, if he could stay healthy, Dario Saric, and
they'll be competing for the 8th seed this year.
Oh yeah, definitely them. They
definitely Miami again.
Yeah,
Chicago.
Yeah, I'd like to see.
So at 4, we're not gonna have the same pick because this is where I think Lonzo eventually goes. I think he goes 4 to Phoenix.
Okay, see,
I don't think he slips any further.
All right, I have De'Aaron Fox going here. I said Fox. It's De'Aaron Fox.
They're probably going to move on from Bledsoe anyway. It would make sense to take a guard to complement Booker.
Yeah, definitely. That's kind of what I was thinking here. They're definitely going to take a guard. A lot of great guards in this class.
Definitely, yeah. The Suns aren't that good. They're in a position to pretty much take best available. And for me, it's Lonzo Ball. So
yeah, I think they're trying to build the team around Devin Booker. Guy's really just shown that he could compete.
Yes, he could be a superstar in this league.
Oh, he definitely can. All right. At 5, I actually have the Kings taking De'Aaron Fox's teammate Malik Monk. I have him going 5 to the Kings. The Kings really need everything after giving up DeMarcus Cousins for reasons unbeknownst to the general public. But I think they take Malik number 5. They don't want him to slip past him, and there's really not a better pure scorer in the draft class.
I think that's a fair pick. I just think that in my mind that Jason Tatum's a better NBA prospect right now. So I would say Jason Tatum goes 5 to Sacramento. The thing with Malik Monk is he's a very good scorer, but he doesn't exactly bring much else. So my ceiling for Malik Monk is like a Jamal Crawford kind of guy, somebody that would definitely just be a good fit as a 6th man. Because at 6, I don't know who you have going at 6, but I have Malik going to the Magic because I think that is a better fit. He can come off the bench after Peyton, who doesn't score the ball very well. He can come in, give Peyton a break and then come in and provide a scoring surge because that's definitely what he's good for.
Definitely. And I have Jason Tatum going to the Magic. I think he's probably going to work his way maybe into getting good minutes on the Magic. I mean, they're trying to rebuild, obviously, but
regardless of where you have Tatum going, if you think it's the Magic, I think it's the Kings. He's gonna play on both teams.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think I kind of agree with your Malik Monk statement. His ceiling's kind of a little bit lower than someone might like to believe.
Like an NBA starter,
especially
a fringe NBA starter.
Yeah. And I think I don't know. I think his defense is where he kind of lacks the most. He's got okay court vision. He's not really a point guard. He's more of a undersized 2.
Mm-hmm.
And but the guy can score the basketball, and he's proved that in and out of very, very big games against Kansas, North Carolina, all throughout the tournament. Him and De'Aaron Fox were a power duo at Kentucky. And I think Jason Tatum is a more versatile, like he's very well-rounded. Mm-hmm. But I also think that with some work, Malik Monk could also be good on defense. But that's throwing a big what-if in there.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So at 7 to Minnesota, do you have Isaac?
Yeah, I got Isaac. My boy. That's my guy.
Florida State repping.
Florida State repping, that's me. Yeah, I got to see this guy play in person. He's just a freak. He's a superhuman. He was genetically modified and created in a lab of other basketball players like LeBron James. They just spit him out there. The guy's 6'10", can run.
Yeah, he's like he'll be an NBA 4, but
yeah, he could run the 3. I've seen him run the 5.
He probably right. I don't think he'll start over Gorgie Dang.
Yeah, no, I don't either.
Start, but Gorgie Dang can score, so I think you'd actually be a little bit better off the bench because Eisen brings an athletic and defensive presence that Dang doesn't really bring. So I think he's just a better fit.
Yeah, I think
he's a really good fit for Minnesota under Thibodeau's system.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's Minnesota's the perfect fit for him. If he falls that low, because I don't know, I've seen a couple of mock drafts where he's going 6 to the Magic, and I've seen other ones where he falls even lower. He goes past the Timberwolves, but I think the T-Wolves are the best fit for him. That's a team. Kind of a hot take. That's a team you're going to look out for 2-3 years to try to compete with the teams like the Celtics, the Cavs, the Rockets. You know,
a lot of people thought they were going to take that step this year. They really didn't. But
it didn't really pan out how a lot of people expected.
With
but
all
they got
the young talent that they have, it's going to happen at some point.
Wiggins, Levine, Karl Anthony Towns, Gorgie Jang, and if they add Isaac, that's just another piece that they can.
Another good solid player.
Yeah. All right, who you have on going to the Knicks?
Dennis Smith.
Okay, it's a fair pick. I got my boy Frank Ntilikina, and I'm sorry, Frank, if I pronounced that wrong, or if he's even going to watch this. He probably won't. This is our first podcast. How you doing?
No chance. Frank Ntilikina watches this.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, but on the off chance
he's in a different time zone, he's in a different country.
Whatever. On the off chance that he skims past it or he watches it at some point in the future. I think the Knicks take another shot with an international player that worked out really well with Porzingis, and I think they're kind of iffy on the point guard position. D-Rose can only take you so far, and he's not getting any younger.
So would you have Smith going 9 to the Mavericks?
I do have Smith going 9 to the Mavericks.
I have Ntilikina going 9 to the Mavericks, so you flip flop that. Basically, that's just your preference.
Yeah, it's a lot of these are just personal preference. I think a lot of them could go either way, and I think most of our draft actually, our mock drafts are kind of flip flops. We have a lot of
Kind
the
of interchangeable.
same guy. Yeah, a lot of the same guys. Well, a couple of wild cards coming up for me. I don't know about you, but
potentially.
Yeah. All right. So going 10 to the Kings. I got Lauri Markkanen out of Arizona.
I also have Lauri Markkanen out of Arizona.
All right. Good.
I don't know if you have him, but when we start talking about our overrated prospects, I think Lauri Markkanen's on there.
I agree.
Doesn't rebound well.
Nope.
A good offensive player, can hit the 3-ball well, but he's also kind of a defensive liability. He doesn't really get that many block shots for a guy his size. So not really that high on Markkanen, but I do think that he's like that Mason Dixon line, if you will, of like top talent and then lower talent.
Yeah.
So but I mean, like you've got the names that everybody knows, and then it would be Lauri Markkanen, and then you've got like fucking Zach Collins.
Yeah. See, he's like, if this is the Mason Dixon line, I think you would kind of be, what's the guy's name? The general that he left the North, went to the South, and ended up losing.
That's why it's a sports podcast.
All right. Anyway, he's the guy that was kind of on the line and dropped below standard. But yeah, the Kings need a big guy. He's a big guy. He's a big guy. He's like 7 feet.
He'll come off the bench, play with Cauley Stein, maybe even start eventually. Yeah. I don't really know what their thought process is.
Yeah, I think maybe if they're not going Lauri Markkanen, they're probably going to go some big guy that's a little bit more defensively minded. They might shoot up.
I guess you could say Zach Collins from Gonzaga.
I was going to say Zach Collins. Maybe they take a gamble with Harry Giles, but I have him in my overrated list too.
Yeah, he's not on my overrated list, but I just don't think that, I don't really think that people know what to expect from him because they didn't get to see much of him in college, with the injuries and stuff. But he is a good prospect. He could fall to a team and make a definite impact.
Yeah, and if you haven't seen this guy's mixtape, it's insane. The guy's an animal.
A freak athlete.
Definitely a freak athlete. Speaking of freak athlete, Sean, actually, we'll get to that. We don't need to talk about it now, but I know who you're about to talk about from SMU. All right, so what are we on?
Oh, yes.
Pick number 11?
Yeah, so it's to Charlotte. I have Zach Collins.
I also have Zach Collins.
Okay, moving on then. At 12, I'm sure we're going to disagree on because I think this guy isn't really well known, but I've read that he's shooting up draft boards right now, and at 12 to the Pistons, I have Donovan Mitchell from Louisville.
All right. I actually have been reading a little bit about Donovan Mitchell. He is shooting up. Him and I forget the guy's name, but he's a prospect from Texas. He's a freshman, or he was a freshman.
I know who you're talking about. His name escapes me right now, but
yeah, it escapes us. But a lot of things escape us. This is our first time doing this. We're ill prepared, but yeah, I think that's a fair pick to make. I kind of have a wild card, and by wild I mean like
to Detroit.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, let me hear it.
I mean, like really wild, and I have Luke Kennard going all the way up to 12.
Yeah, no, definitely could shoot up draft boards. I guess he's a very good shooter.
He could if he puts on a clinic at workouts and stuff. I don't know how he's been doing.
I think he's a sleeper pick in this draft, but I don't think that he's that much of a sleeper that he would make my like sleepers list that we have. Mm-hmm. I just think that he's a little bit more well known.
I was actually, since I have a lot of downtime at work, I was actually on the computer reading about mock drafts from CBS Sports, and I think it was CBS and Sports Nation both had him going 21 to the Thunder. And I made this list before I read that. I still want to keep him at 12. I think it could happen, but there's other guys that could also go in his place.
Yeah, definitely. The Detroit Pistons pick is kind of a wild card because they're a competitive basketball team, but they don't really have a specific need necessarily. I think they could upgrade the small forward position, move on from Reggie Jackson, maybe get a better power forward in there, but they could do a lot of different things. At 13, though, to Denver, do you have Justin Jackson from UNC? I
do have Justin Jackson.
Okay. I think he goes there, but I don't think he's as good as people claim he is. My guy going 14, though.
I disagree.
My guy going 14.
I don't want to talk about 14. Yeah, I want to talk about Justin Jackson because this guy's a guy who's got the skill set. He's got the body for it. He just needs to lift. He's a JV Kevin Durant in my eyes. I don't think he's that. I mean, I'm not trying to compare skill sets here. But yeah. I think in terms of strength, weaknesses, one of his strengths is his athleticism. The guy's freakishly athletic. His body is unbelievably lanky, and that translates well into a league where you need a reach.
Yeah, no,
I think it'll help him defensively. I think I don't know. I think he took on too much of a big role at UNC in clutch situations. He couldn't come through, so that kind of tells a little bit about him and how he might translate to big games in the NBA. But I think coming off the bench, he could probably make a dent. Also, a pick, and we should actually do this sometime, is way too early predictions for like rookies of the year, defensive player of the year, comeback of the year.
Yeah. Maybe we think about that a couple weeks down the line.
Yeah, especially on a Nuggets team that's kind of flies under the radar. So they could use him.
So for everything you just said about Justin Jackson is my negatives for him. I don't think that his game translates that well to the NBA. I think he's a physical player, but when he gets into the lane, he throws up reckless shots. I guess he finishes well. His 3-point shot.
What does James Harden do? I mean, the guy averages 29 points a game, shooting 12 free throws, 14
yeah,
free
but
throws.
James Harden gets to the line a lot. He's also a bona fide superstar. Justin Jackson's going to be a rookie coming into the league. Probably not going to get.
He's only a bona fide superstar because he has inflated stats from how many times he goes to the line, draws fouls, and he cheap shots and stuff. But that's another topic for another day.
I mean that's definitely part of the NBA games, getting to the line. I just don't think Justin Jackson actually.
I think in the next few years that changes. There's going to be a lot of controversy about that. A lot of guys just chucking up shots off screens, getting fouled on the arm, selling it really well. That's happened.
I think the NBA is a lot softer than what it was in the 90s. I mean, I definitely wasn't around to see the 90s, but I'm sure we've both seen gameplay highlights from that. So,
of course we have. We're young kids. We don't know what we're talking about. So, but we do. So, who do you have going 14th?
I have TJ Leaf from UCLA. I also think that he's somewhat of a sleeper in this draft because he's not. The supporting cast at UCLA doesn't really get as much recognition as they should, just because they're Lonzo Ball's teammates. But TJ Leaf is a good big man. He can shoot the 3-ball, which is a necessity kind of for a big man in today's game. Rebounds well. His defense is decent enough. Like it'll get the job done. But TJ Leaf in the right system, I mean, I think he could slide in at the 4 in Miami, and that actually worked out really, really good for them. They run Leaf and Whiteside to kind of pick up some of Whiteside's offensive liabilities that he can bring at times, and make up for it with just like Leaf with a good shooter. You're not afraid to run him out there on the floor.
It's a good call. They could use a shooter. I got 14. I got going to the Heat. OG Anunoby.
I actually think he's a little bit overrated, but that could be because he's coming off an injury. But he's very good at defense, and his offensive game is coming along. So not an unreasonable pick. I just think that for their needs, they have like Josh Richardson, Tyler Johnson. I just don't think they need another guard necessarily right now.
Well, he's listed here as a small forward. The guy's 6'8" with an 8-foot wingspan. I know I'm talking a lot about.
I guess it's more forward.
Yeah,
still they got James Johnson.
Yeah, he's a very, very athletic guy.
Winslow's coming back.
Who's coming back?
Justice Winslow.
Oh yeah, he is. Oh yeah, you're right. But that's another guy that I don't think really panned out the way a lot of people thought he would.
So for sleepers in this draft, I don't know if you've mentioned any yet. I've mentioned TJ Leaf though, so I've got 4 more that I think are worth noting. So I got Peter Jock from Iowa. If you probably, the chances are I think he's on your sleeper list too, right?
No, he's not, but I would consider him a sleeper.
Yeah, chances are you probably haven't watched that much Iowa basketball. So the dude can shoot. Definitely check out his 3-point contest. Got good form. Can create his own shot off the dribble. Can be a spot up shooter. He's just a natural shooter. Kind of reminds me of like a Klay Thompson kind of guy. And then I have Sindarius Thornwell from South Carolina, who played really good in the NCAA tournament. He's going like late second round, and I think he could actually be a little bit of a higher impact than a late second round player. Not that, late second round doesn't produce any talent, but I just think he could go a little higher, and somebody that drafts him that late could get a steal. My favorite sleeper, Samai Ojale from SMU. The dude does absolutely everything. He literally the only way to describe him is that he's just an animal. And then another animal, Caleb Swanigan from Purdue. I think he could translate very well as like a 10-10 guy in the NBA. So those are my sleepers.
That's a good list, Sean. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's a good list.
And then TJ Leaf, but I already mentioned him.
Of course. All right, so here we go. My sleeper list. I got leading it off. Number 1, Caleb Swanigan. You know that's my boy. Talking about men who belong in zoos. That's Caleb Swanigan. The guy's an animal on the boards. The guy can score. He's very composed individual, and if you haven't heard his story, he's got a really, really good story. He lost a lot of weight.
Yeah, definitely.
Tough bring up, tough family situation. He's really brought everything that he has to the table. Gotta respect the guy. Number 2, Bam Adebayo. I like this guy coming out of high school. I watched his mixtape. I know you watched his mixtape. I know you don't like Bam, but I'm a believer in Bam. The guy's he's large, he's strong. He reminds me a little bit of early Dwight Howard, not late Dwight Howard, early Dwight Howard when he was
that's a fair
decent.
It's a fair player. I just don't think that in today's NBA his game translates that well, because you saw kind of when they go now towards shooting big men, and Dwight Howard can't really do that anymore.
Yeah, now he's
like an awkward piece on the Atlanta Hawks. So that's what
people still forget. He's second in the league in rebounding, right behind Andre Drummond.
I do think that that's a good player comp for him. I just don't think that it's really the big man that the league needs anymore. Not that like he won't get drafted or anything like that. I just think that his style of play is a little bit outdated.
Okay, fair enough. Number 3, I have Terrence Ferguson. This is another guy that I really like. Hold on. I just accidentally closed. All right, here we go. Yep, all right. Terrence Ferguson, another guy that I really like. Kind of flies under the radar a little bit. A lot of people don't know who he is because he's international. But you got to watch this guy. He's quick. He's
good
light,
player.
Agile. All the good stuff. And then number 4, I got DJ Wilson out of Michigan. A lot of people saw him in the tournament.
Put
on a show. Had a great tournament. So good guard, solid. I think he's solid. I don't think you can really say anything else about him, but I think he could fit in as a role player in the right organization. Number 5, I got Mortiz Wagner. This is another guy that I have been watching. Good shooter. I think he was in the 3-point contest. Was he not?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. He's tall. He's a power forward. He's a shooting power forward, a little bit like Kristaps, but kind of smaller. Maybe that's just because he's white and he's foreign, but what are you gonna do? You know?
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah, so that's my list of sleepers, and now we're gonna head on to overrated.
So pretty much I've already listed all of my overrated besides one guy. I told you I didn't like Adebayo, Anunoby, or I can't even pronounce his name, but I'm not high on him. Jackson. Yeah, Jackson, Markkanen. The only guy I got left is Josh Collins, and it's literally the same reasons I listed Bam Adebayo. I just don't know how his game really translates to the NBA anymore. He's not really that good of a shooter, so just don't think he should go as high because he's like a fringe lottery pick in a lot of mock drafts I've seen. So I just don't think he's that good of a
all right. Remind me
out of Wake Forest. Sorry.
All right, so Josh Collins is out of Wake Forest. Zach Collins out of Gonzaga. Okay, good, because I got Zach Collins on my overrated list. I think the guy, he's kind of a wild card. He could go either way. I just don't see. I see him getting frustrated, not being a star. A lot of guys' tempers get in the way. A lot of guys' egos, and this guy with a big one. I got Jason Tatum on that list. I just didn't see enough from him to be
because of his injury. Yeah.
And I think he's great. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a great player, and he could very well prove me wrong. I haven't seen enough of him, and I also haven't been wowed when I did see him to consider him like a top 3, top 5 pick.
That's fair.
I have Harry Giles, kind of undersized. If he could grow a little, get a little bit bigger. Also,
like a fringe forward, but he can't really play small forward. So
yeah, exactly. Weird guy. He's definitely good at basketball. He just doesn't have a true position to play, which is something. Unless
you could say the same thing about I'm not really that high on Harry Giles either, but you could say the same thing about Draymond. Is he's more of a small forward kind of build, but he plays very well at the power forward position. So
yeah, I mean,
just takes the right system.
Yeah, but that kind of stuff, like a lot of the guys who play more than one position or who's more versatile, sort of like a Harry Giles, I guess you could say, or like Draymond, you got Giannis Antetokounmpo. LeBron. These are all superstars, franchises, like franchise guys. I would consider Draymond a franchise guy.
No, yeah, I would too.
I mean, on a team of all franchise guys. But yeah, I don't see him being a superstar, so I think he needs to really focus on one position. I think that one position might have to be the 4. He doesn't really have too good of a handle, or at least not enough to succeed at the level a lot of people wish he would in the NBA.
Yeah,
number 2, I have Lauri Markkanen, just like you, same reasons. The guy is just a shooter. It doesn't really translate in the post. I have him going to the Kings. I think the Kings kind of.
I just think it's because he fits with the Kings.
Yeah, but
it's a Kings pick to make.
Yeah, but the Kings also need a guy who's going to rebound, and he doesn't really rebound as well as other guys in the draft, like Bam Adebayo on my sleeper list, on your overrated list.
I think they get a lot of defensive presence from Willie Cauley-Stein, not a ton of offensive presence from him. So pairing him with a guy like Markkanen, they kind of like cross cancel each other out. Not that it's like neither of them are there, but they complement each other. That's what I should say.
Yeah, makes sense. All right, and last but most certainly not least, I have Josh Jackson. I just have him. I don't know.
I have to 110% disagree with you.
I know, and it's a tough.
I think he's going to be a very, very, very good NBA player.
I know, but I don't know. On a Kansas team where he got, if he's supposed to be that good, and believe me, he's good, he got outshined by Frank Mason all year. So to have, I don't know, you have to be, I feel like in order to be the superstar that everyone believes you are, you have to take over whatever team you get put on, especially at the college level, because at the professional level, you got all superstars from college, superstars from overseas. On a team, he wasn't even considered the best player on his own team. Frank Mason kind of took over that role at Kansas. So I see it more of as a role player rather than someone you could build a team around.
Oh, you good?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. All right. Wow. Holy crap.
Yeah, it's been happening a little bit, but
all right. Well, I mean, you got your point in about Jackson. I just think that I do agree that he did kind of get outshined by Frank Mason. I just think he's going to be a very good NBA prospect. Mm-hmm. He's got the makeup for it.
Of course.
But a team that doesn't really need the talent anymore is the Golden State Warriors. I mean, they won the.
That was a smooth transition, Sean.
Won the finals in 5 last night. And the one thing that I would have to say about that is, you can get on Kevin Durant's back for coming to Golden State, not being loyal, whatever else you want to roast Kevin Durant for, being a snake. He came in and one that could have been a series, but he legitimately dominated on a night-to-night basis against the elite talent that is the Cavaliers, and he earned his championship last night.
I agree. I think he earned his championship. I don't think he was just along for the ride. I think he really took a leadership role and just took on over the already crazily talented Warriors team. But you can't go talk about the finals without talking about LeBron James averaging a triple-double.
Played very, very well in that series. Did you see his comment, though, that he's never played on a super team? Yeah. My man's has been on 2, okay? My man has been on 2 super teams.
Not only has he been on 2, he created them. He was Dr. Frankenstein birthing a monster. That's what he was.
Went to Miami, met up with Dwayne Wade, and added Chris Bosh. He went to Cleveland, met up with Kyrie Irving, and added Kevin Love. There's no difference in the systems that he ran. And the reason that Kevin Durant actually went to Golden State, some of that is to blame on LeBron starting super teams in the NBA, basically saying, hey, you need to dominate the competition or you simply do not stand a chance against
I learned it from watching you. Classic.
Yeah, that's just how it is, basically. LeBron, not saying that he started super teams, but he's kind of started a trend for him because LeBron is, can dominate a game at any given time. Obviously, he played very well in this NBA Finals, but that then created you need a super team to beat the Cavaliers because the Warriors are like this much better than the Cavaliers, and then the Cavaliers are like this much better than the rest of the NBA. I mean, maybe the Spurs can get up here, but they're not there yet. And then you take those 3 teams, you get Warriors, Cleveland, Spurs, and then the Celtics, I guess, are the fourth best team, and there's a drop off. There's a drop off.
It's a bad drop off.
There's a huge drop off between the Warriors and Cleveland. Like,
yeah, if you take the top of the NBA with the bottom of the NBA, it almost looks like they're almost monopolizing the league. You don't hear about teams like that are rebuilding, kind of coming up, because then they get swept in the first round of the playoffs. I mean, you look at a team, the Heat didn't even make the playoffs. They had a great run to end the season after the All-Star break.
It also doesn't help when you win less than 20 games in the first half. But
but the thing is, like, teams that rebuild and are doing well that deserve like a playoff spot.
Oh, they're at such a competitive disadvantage.
You could do whatever you want. If right now you're in a rebuilding stage, you're going to have to stay in a rebuilding stage for years on end. Probably until somebody on the Warriors retires, gets hurt, gets traded.
Well, that's kind of what the Eastern Conference philosophy is why try? We might as well just wait for LeBron to leave or retire or die. Like,
I think LeBron's one of those guys. How old is his son? Because he could play basketball, his last year of basketball, with his son on his
could, and LeBron definitely has showed no signs of slowing down at 32, but eventually it's going to come. Like, we can say all we want about how good this guy is, but eventually you just slow down. Yeah. Like, at times in the Golden State series, I felt LeBron looked very lethargic, and he rested during the season. He averaged a triple double. But think about this: you have Game 3 where the Warriors stole it in Cleveland. LeBron down the stretch has to be your go-to guy. He's the superstar of the NBA, the best player in the league. He's settling for like turnaround fadeaways, fall away like Dirk Nowitzki shots, like. They weren't good shots. Like, he's a physically gifted athlete that just needs to drive the hoop. He did it last night, and he was bullying Klay Thompson, absolutely bullying him.
Well, the thing is, too, they got the guy playing 45 minutes a game, man, a 48-minute game.
But they have to if they want to stand a chance in the series.
See, that's what I'm saying. That's where the drop-off comes. Is like, if you have to have your best player play the entire game in order to even stand a chance and not even win, just make it competitive, that's when you need kind of –
That's Golden State's going to be – next year, the year after that, the year after that, the year after that.
That's the
one guy I'd watch out there from Golden State, Klay Thompson. I think Klay Thompson could be on the move as soon as he gets the chance to get out of there.
Klay Thompson's got a sweet stroke.
The dude probably loves winning championships. Obviously, who wouldn't love to win a championship? But at some point, he needs to it might be this season actually where he personally realizes like he is just a backseat complimentary player and doesn't really get a chance to show off what he can do on a night-to-night basis. Granted, he has nights of just absolutely like takeover mode when he scored like 60 points earlier this year and only 3 quarters against the Pacers, but he's just kind of like he's a piece of the puzzle, but he's not an important one. Like, he's just
there.
He's just not really, he doesn't really
He's a superstar playing a role-playing role.
Yeah, like he could definitely get out of there and succeed. Like, Harrison Barnes didn't really fit in well with Golden State. Went to Dallas and actually had a pretty good season last year. Mm-hmm. Not that Dallas was a competitor, but he actually put together a pretty good season. So,
also people to talk about: KD getting his first ring, David West getting his first ring. All these guys. Steve Nash getting his first ring as. What was it? Athletic training guy.
Steve Nash was just there. He was just there.
He stretches him. He stretches him out and he talks to him at practice. He finally got a ring. Never got to get one in the NBA.
He was just there.
Shout out to Steve Nash. Shout out to all the white guys in the NBA. There's not many of them. We're a dying breed, but we got rings, baby. That's all that matters.
We can still shoot threes.
Yeah, that's right. We shoot threes and we play good on-ball defense.
So, like you were saying, though, like with how the Warriors like this much higher than the Cavs need something to close that gap, and they're in a tough situation when they literally have no cap space whatsoever, literally none.
Yeah, and if you look back,
it stems because they have to keep those big 3 contracts. They have to.
Yeah, and if you want to look back and play the what if game, they did draft Andrew Wiggins, and they did have a draft where they took Anthony Bennett instead of taking anybody else in that draft class, and
anybody else would be better.
It would, yeah, but
it wasn't a good draft class.
It wasn't strong, but you could have taken anybody else, literally.
I totally agree. But the thing with that is, Kevin Love may be seeing his time come to an end in Cleveland because he's not the third guy that they need to beat the Warriors. Because if you think about this, matchup wise, you have Steph and Kyrie, LeBron and Durant, and Draymond and Kevin Love meaning. And those three, those Cavaliers players actually played very well this series, but Curry played better than Kyrie. Durant played better than LeBron, even though LeBron averaged a triple-double. Like, automatic, like, in terms of playing, not playing his role. What's the word I'm looking for? Like, Kevin Durant was actually, like, dominating LeBron. Like, physically, like LeBron wasn't keeping up. Kevin Durant scored over 30 every game, and I know LeBron averaged, like, a good triple-double and stuff like that.
With over 30 a game.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that Kevin Durant, if you take Kevin Durant off the Warriors roster, then we still have a series to go.
You take LeBron off the Cavs roster, they don't even make it to the finals.
But I'm talking about this series specifically. If you take Kevin Durant off that roster.
Yeah, I agree. Kevin Durant took over the series. The guy hit shots when he needed to hit shots. He put on a show in game 2. It was pretty much a slam dunk contest. They were just giving him the lane. J.R. Smith doesn't play defense-wise. He need to. He's drunk off Hennessy. Doesn't matter.
Kyle Korver doesn't play any defense either.
Yeah, well, Kyle Korver also, people forget.
He gets paid shit and he couldn't even do that.
Well,
Darren Williams needs to retire.
Yeah, he's out. I thought he retired years ago before he came to the Cavs. I was like, what team is this guy on?
Send him back to Utah.
That's what I'm saying. You know what they should do? And they should sign Stephon Marbury. Jerry
bring
Stackhouse.
Bring back Nate Robinson.
I'm telling you, man. Jimmy Fredette, call him up. The Knicks should call him up. Get him in there because he was what? He was like a Chinese League All-Star now. He's playing.
I think he was like 70 or 80 in one game, something absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, the guy's a monster. I don't know why he's not in the NBA. He should be at the end of somebody's bench. He's better than a lot of guys in the NBA, in my opinion. Even on the Warriors, they could like Festus Ezeli, get him out of here.
He's not even on the Warriors anymore, bro.
He's not. All right. Well, James
on the Portland Trailblazers.
Michael McAdoo, give me a break. Okay.
Well, he does. They don't need him.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The Warriors can win.
I'm not saying Jimmy Fredette should go on to the Warriors. I'm saying a lot of these guys that are on the end of the bench for the Warriors, because there's like no cap space with the giant contracts that the starters of the Warriors have, he could make a difference on somebody else's team. Even the Knicks, bring him up. The Knicks are struggling.
Well, they got to pay Steph this offseason. They got to pay Steph. They're gonna have to pay Clay soon. They paid Kevin. They're gonna have to pay Kevin again. Actually, even though he would take a pay cut, he's still worth a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
They were just blessed with a good financial situation because Steph Curry had no ankles for the first 3 years, but they're like, hey, we like you, so we need to give you a contract, but it's not going to be NBA superstar worthy because you can't stay on the court.
Yeah.
People forget how injury prone Steph was at the start of his career. So I just think that in terms of Cleveland wanting to catch the Warriors, they got to do some roster overhaul, not necessarily blow everything up and start again, but Kevin Love is making too much money to score less than 10 points in a pivotal game, in a game 5.
Okay. But
he's just not making the impact necessary.
Game on the line, and a lot of you won't talk about game 3, first game in Cleveland. You need to defend your home court, and I remember the first quarter, Kevin Love had 14 points. The guy was six or seven.
I'm not saying he played horrible in the series. I'm just saying that he's not like last year. You can keep Kevin Love. Last year was an evenly matched series, and then the Warriors were like, "Hey, let's take the second best player in the league."
Yeah,
and so now you simply just don't stand a chance. Like the Cavs won't beat the Warriors in a 7-game set for years to come. It's just not going to happen. That team's ridiculous.
Yeah, but I don't think the solution would be getting rid of Kevin Love because he also brings a lot to the defensive end of the floor, which is
right. But if you want to try to compete, because the Cavs are going to probably get back to the Eastern Conference, the NBA Finals again next year, you're going to need to bring in pieces that are valuable. And this is actually a decent free agent class. And having Kevin Love's salary on the books or Kevin Love and Tristan Thompson, I guess. But
I would take Tristan Thompson off. The guy makes $85 million to do what?
Rebound, but that's what.
But he got out rebounded.
I mean, you can get somebody else to do that for you. But exactly. I just don't think that many people are going to take Thompson's contract for what he brings to the table. I think you're more likely to trade somebody like Kevin Love. I think that would be more attractive to a team looking to get a big guy from the Cavs. It would be one of those two. I don't know. We're both Celtics fans. I'd rather have Kevin Love.
I'd rather have Kevin Love too. I would rather get Horford out of the 5 position, and I would rather get rid
anyway. But I don't think that the Celtics make a signing this year that necessarily moves him there.
Well, I mean, Andre Drummond's on the free agent market. Gordon Hayward's looking good for a small
Is
forward
Andre
position.
Drummond on the free agent market?
Yeah, he is. Or no,
Yes.
not Andre. Nope. Greg Monroe is who I was thinking of.
Oh well, he's not that good.
But he can rebound. That's all we really need.
He's just a role player in Milwaukee. He's kind of soft, scores
That's
well.
all you need to do. It's a role player.
The Celtics aren't going to compete with the Cavs anyway. They're doing kind of what like what San Antonio was doing. They're competing, but they're also building for the future, I guess. So you're going to take Markelle Fultz, which is fine, and he'll make an impact on the Celtics team that goes to the championship 4 years from now. Like when they're in the championship, it'll be Markelle Fultz, Jaylen Brown, Gordon Hayward. Al Horford will probably be retired, and then you got guys stashed overseas. You're going to have a nice pick next year from Brooklyn. Like the Celtics team that goes to the finals 3-4 years from now is not going to have anybody that's on the current roster.
Yep. And and by that time, Al Horford will probably have grandkids.
Yes. I mean, Al Horford, I think they gave him a max, which is 4 if you're not from your returning team. So by the time he's out of here, he'll be like 35.
Oh, he's that young? Al Horford, really?
He's like 30-something or other. Let me double check my facts, but I'm pretty sure he's 31 or 32.
Please, bro, because that man is fatherly if I've ever seen a dad.
And then people think that the Celtics should bring in his boy Paul Millsap and like reunite some shit. I'm like, no.
That would be fire.
No, that's a horrible idea, bro. Paul Millsap's like 32. Paul Millsap is 32, actually. I can confirm that as a fact.
Then it all depends on what the front office wants to do. If they want to win now, they bring in Paul Millsap. If they want to go,
that's what they brought in Al Horford to do, win now, and they
they also brought in Amir Johnson. They thought he was going to pan out, but he sucked.
They won to an extent. I mean, but you only gave Amir Johnson a 1-year contract, so
that's true. But that's to dip the toes in the water, check the temperature.
Al Horford is 31, just turned 31 on June 3rd. So
wow.
I didn't know that. By the time he's out of here, he'll be 34. So, so that you got to make the signing to be competitive in the East, and keep your fans interested. I mean, they did a really quick turnaround rebuild. They got lucky with getting a guy like Isaiah Thomas for dirt cheap. So, but it's going to be tough to pay Isaiah Thomas too when the time comes, because Isaiah Thomas would be like a really good Klay Thompson on a championship team. I don't think he can lead you to the championship on his own.
No, I don't think he should be the centerpiece at all. If you're going to really compete.
But maybe Gordon can become that guy. Then you go Gordon, Thomas, and then and then I guess you could use Horford as third. That's not necessarily good enough to beat the Cavs, but you add Markelle Fultz, Jaylen Brown will progress. Maybe you get Jay Crowder out of town for some
Terry Rozier. You put Terry Rozier in the game for once ever. Him and Jaylen Brown deserve to get minutes. I like if Hayward doesn't pan out, I like Paul George. I really do.
I don't, because you can trade for him, but he will play for you for 1 year, and the Pacers are going to want him like a first-round pick. He's not going to re-sign in Boston. He's already going to Los Angeles. There's no point. You can give up top-tier talent for him, and then you can have 1 year where you might be able to get to the NBA Finals, and you will not beat the Warriors.
Just saying, he would be a nice piece. That's it.
It would be a nice piece, but it's just unrealistic to give up that much for him because he's not going to stick around.
Well, if he starts winning, why would he ever leave?
Because he wants to play in Los Angeles. He's made that very clear that he wants to go to Los Angeles.
Yeah, but say Los Angeles doesn't pan out. That's all I'm saying. Just throwing hypotheticals. All right.
I don't see it as realistic.
All right. Well, agree to disagree. Let's move on. We got David Price. Soft.
David Price is a bitch.
He's a bitch. David Price is a bitch. All right. We're Red Sox fans. We're from New England, so we're allowed to be. And we like David Price. I like David Price.
I really root for David Price. I really would like him to be good.
I honestly think,
but the problem is
2-ply toilet paper.
He's mentally soft. He's not worth the money that we're giving him so far. But I do think that last year he was a crucial part of the team winning the AL East. He won 17 wins, and although that's not necessarily a crucial stat to pitchers anymore, he was able to keep your team in the ball game 17 times for them to outscore the other team, which is exactly 17 wins is what your ace should get you. I know Porcello played the ace role last year, but Porcello's this year. When Porcello's on the mound, it's pretty much a guaranteed loss at this point. Like last night, Porcello
I would say that about Drew Pomeroy.
Last night, Porcello pitch gave up 5 runs to the Phillies. To the Phillies, bro. The Phillies are garbage. Okay,
the Phillies are ass. All right, we can agree on the Phillies.
I think they're actually in extra innings with the Phillies again.
Are they? We'll get live updates on that.
I think they are.
Maybe.
I just think that the way David Price handles the media is he wants them to ask him about off the field stuff like his charity work and his fucking dog, but I don't care. Like this is Boston where we pay you to, like, we expect you to go out there and pitch, and if you can't handle what Boston brings to the table, then you shouldn't have signed there. St. Louis gave you a pretty good offer. Go play in St. Louis. Nobody gives a shit in St. Louis.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can't really pick and choose what you do and do not want to answer when you're on the podium. You're a professional athlete, and part of that, with that comes tough, hard-hitting questions that you have to answer. Like, if you're not having a good game, you got to suck it up. Be like, all right, I fucked up. This is what I have to do better. This is the answer to your question. But you can't just dance around it. If you're not doing well, you got to kind of eat it, progress for the future. But you know that fans want to see results and they don't want to hear excuses. That's kind of what David Price is bringing to the table right now on the post-game press conferences.
And the sad part is David Price is, obviously not that good. He's not going to get he's good, but he's not going to get a win tonight. He just sucked against the Yankees, and he's not even the worst waste of money on the roster. Pablo Sandoval. Listen, I'm the biggest Pablo Sandoval supporter out there. I want this guy to be absolutely amazing. I love Pablo Sandoval, but he just sucks. And he's not even in the starting lineup. Last night he was pinch hitting behind. You got Josh Rutledge and Devin Marrero ahead of him on like Devin Marrero wasn't even a third baseman. He's a converted third baseman because we needed him.
All right, listen, Devin Marrero's been on a tear.
No, on what? On defense? Cool, bro. I could go out there and field 10 ground balls in a row.
Bro, just last week he had 3 home runs. He batted over 300 on the week.
He's not a consistent offensive player. He had a nice game against the White Sox, don't get me wrong, but that's not the Devin Marrero that you're going to expect every night. You're going to get the Devin Marrero that hits like 180, but goes out there and is solid in the field. And Pablo Sandoval, you're going to get the guy that hits also 180, but can't field for absolute shit. So
yeah, well, I say hashtag bring back Travis Shaw. Get it trending on Twitter.
Well, Tyler Thornburg turned out to be a huge bust, too. I don't even think he's going to – at least Carson Smith is going to resume throwing soon. Tyler Thornburg, we literally traded – I'm pretty sure Travis Shaw is hitting almost 300 right now. He's in
Milwaukee.
A force in the Milwaukee lineup right now. He's got 10 plus ding-dongs, close to 40 RBIs, I believe, and – we just let him go for some pitcher that may or may not ever pitch in a Red Sox uniform.
He probably won't. Or they'll probably give him his debut. He'll let up 6 against a shitty team, and then they'll cut him because we don't care. We don't care about
David Price. If it's David Price, he'll cry himself to sleep at night.
Yeah,
I think David Price –
get the hell out of town.
I think David Price absolutely hates it in Boston. When he has the opportunity to leave, he will go.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like we're lacking in a pitching staff where we need a guy like David Price with this type of track record.
We kind of are at this point. We have 3. Sale. Porcello's not pitching well. Wright's out for the year. Pomeranz sucks. I mean, you literally got Porcello and Brian Johnson.
Well, Price isn't going to
Erod.
Price isn't going to leave mid-year. He'd stick it out for the entire year.
He'll leave.
Stephen Wright will come back. Porcello will have time to go back to his natural form of being dominant. With Price. Dominant. Well, I mean, last year he won the Cy Young Award. I would call that pretty dominant. I don't know. I would say the Cy Young Award winner is kind of dominant. I don't know.
I would say that you can win the Cy Young Award though by having one fluke season. Like that's not the Porcello that you're going to expect every year.
Like David Price did.
Yeah, but he's also David Price is a small market pitcher. He's a Tampa Bay, Toronto, Detroit kind of guy. He's not a Boston, New York, Chicago. Like that's not who David Price is. That's not the guy he's going to be because he's just a crybaby. He's simply mentally weak.
That is a chirp.
Bro, that is a chirp. I would love for David Price to be good, but he's just not right now. And I want people to give him a second chance. I got into a Twitter argument over it the other day. I think that people were too critical to get on David Price for his Yankee shit show, but he actually put together a good start against Baltimore, put together a good start against Chicago. If he only gave up 2 or 3 tonight to Philadelphia, I don't know how long he went, but that's a good start. I'll actually check right now how long Price was in this bitch for. But that's a quality start. I know Philadelphia's not good and you expect them to dominate, but that doesn't necessarily mean that giving up 3 runs is a bad start. I just
think I expect more out of a guy like David Price.
I do too for the amount of money we pay him.
Yeah, I do. Every 5 days you get Chris Sale on the mound. That's almost like a guaranteed 1 or 2 runs.
Maybe together quality start. Price went 6. Price went 6, gave up 3, struck out 6. 4 walks though. That's concerning.
Yeah,
only gave up 4 hits though, but that's 8 base runners right there, and half of them are because you can't find the strike zone. I think that maybe he does need the arm surgery, but
I don't know. I think in the short term, just short-term solutions, you could put Joe Kelly back in the starting position. I mean, he started in St. Louis.
Not anymore. I think he's kind of settled in his reliever role, and I don't think Farrell trusts him that much, but he's just kind of settled in his reliever role. I think you're more likely to just see somebody from AAA get called up again.
Yeah,
whether it's Velasquez, Johnson with a spot start, fucking Henry Owens.
Fucking Henry Owens.
Bro, absolutely the worst. If there was a quadruple A ball, Henry Owens would be an all-star. So he just never will be an MLB pitcher. He's like a perfect AAA pitcher.
Yeah, I hear you.
And those are just my thoughts on David Price and fucking
we got
Henry Owens. We went on a tangent there for a second.
All right. Speaking of quadruple A all-stars, wrap this thing up with the MLB All-Star ballot. We got them up right now.
Let's do NL first. That's what I have in front of me.
All right. Well, I had the AL, so I'll switch over to your needs. What do we got here?
Thanks. So for catchers, Buster Posey definitely is the most deserving catcher out west. He's about 600,000 votes ahead of Wilson Contreras, and I don't even think they're that close so far this year. So that's fair. Zimmerman, Rizzo, and Goldschmidt. Goldschmidt with close to 600,000 votes is a crime. I think he actually is having a better year than Rizzo, but again, fan vote kind of sucks.
Yeah,
fact that Javier Baez is second in All-Star voting.
That's because you got a lot of bandwagon Cubs fans now that probably just sit at home on their phones and type in Javier Baez to play. I think DJ LeMahieu, kind of an underrated guy. Doesn't get a lot of votes.
Yeah, DJ LeMahieu and Murphy definitely should be
1 and 2. I think Javi belongs in the 3-hole behind him. I don't think he has over 1 million votes. That's ridiculous. A lot of those should.
He's going to be the only one that can catch Daniel Murphy, and he's the least deserving.
Yep. Well, you know what? It happens.
Same thing at third, bro. Chris Bryant, fine, but not having as good of a season as Nolan Arenado, and Chris Bryant is not even having as good of a season as Jake Lamb. Jake Lamb is legit. Jake Lamb is raking. Absolutely raking right now.
Yeah. I don't know why Anthony Rendon's even on this list. I think it's kind of like a premature Nationals jump.
And then also people that say that Seager should be ahead of Zach Cozart at shortstop clearly are not watching that many Reds games, but yet again, really, who is?
That's true.
Zach Cozart is having a phenomenal season. Like, if you don't believe me, just peep his stats. Zach Cozart is going off right now.
Yeah.
Never made an All-Star team, but definitely should be on this one.
Yeah, and
go ahead.
Oh no,
go ahead.
I was going to go for the outfield. You got Bryce Harper leading the way. Bryce Harper, over 2 million votes. I think he might be the leading vote getter in the National League.
Deserving. Same thing with Blackman, but
Charlie Blackman.
Hayward's like a fringe.
The Rockies lineup, something to be a force to be reckoned with, to say the least.
Definitely, the Rockies could be a mainstay out there in the NL.
Yeah, Jason Hayward, that's another thing. I mean,
questionable, but having a good year. I'm trying to think of people that I put ahead of him, and I don't really see anybody on this list. But
I mean, you got Adam Duvall falling all the way to 10. Not Kyle Schwarber. Maybe Yoenis, but the Mets are ass.
I like Ozuna, but I just don't think he'll get enough votes.
I don't either. But Ozuna's a solid. Marcell Ozuna's a solid.
Yeah. I mean, he should be ahead of Stanton. Stanton's hurt again.
Yeah, and they don't have a pitching staff yet?
No. I don't believe that the fans vote on pitchers.
All right. Well, it's probably going to be Max Scherzer. It's probably not going to be that much of a surprise.
Max Scherzer, Kershaw. I'm just trying to think of like other candidates you have out west. Scherzer, Kershaw.
Those are the two that jump out to me.
Yeah, those are who should jump out to you.
Yeah.
Right. Arrieta and Lester aren't even having that good of a year, so I wouldn't put them in there. The Cubs as a whole really aren't having that good of a year. So.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to the
AL.
Just making sure I have the right list up here. We got Salvador Perez and Wellington Castillo, 1 and 2 for the catcher, followed closely by Brian McCann. Brian McCann making a resurgence after being good in 2010 and then not being good on the Yankees.
The AL really isn't that strong for catchers.
No, not at all. I think Salvy's probably the best fit.
Salvy's probably your best choice.
Yeah.
Moving on to first base, Yonder Alonso having a sneaky good season, so definitely is deserving with that. I believe he's got like 15, 16 home runs like that, close to 40 RBIs, OPS over 1.
Mm-hmm. But Miguel
So
Cabrera out ahead of him with 475,000 votes.
I have Yonder Alonso, then Miguel Cabrera, then Hosmer. This is the update from yesterday.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I must have an old update.
And Carlos Santana, and Yuli Guerrero from the Astros, and then at second I have Altuve, and then Castro at second.
Yep.
That's how it should be. I just don't think that.
Definitely. I mean,
I just don't think Castro.
Yeah, you got Kipnis, Cano, and Pedroia kind of sneak up there, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, they're all kind of having like decent seasons, but definitely not as good as Castro and Altuve. I just don't think Castro will catch Altuve. That's the only.
No, there's no way he does. Altuve's kind of like a fan favorite. A lot of people. Hard to hate guy that's hard to hate. He works hard, plays hard. The Astros are on a tear, to say the least.
Definitely.
They're kind of a midseason front runner for a World Series title. They cannot be stopped. It seems like they got everything rolling for them, from their lineup to their bullpen, which has been performing really well. I think the only thing that can stop them is cold bats. I mean, you got a lot of guys that can hit, but if they all go cold at once, hitting is contagious, as they say.
That lineup definitely contagiously hits.
Yeah,
I will give that to you.
All right, and
then at third, it's Miguel Sano, who is, because the Twins are for whatever reason good this season.
Mm-hmm.
He's like a sneaky MVP candidate that won't win it, but like due to the Twins' success, a lot of it is because of Miguel Sano.
Mm-hmm.
Got 15 homers, 46 RBIs, and actually plays a very good third base, all considering his defense last year was atrocious. And then at shortstop, definitely Carlos Correa.
Back at third base, I want to talk about something. Manny Machado and the 3 spot
should not be that high.
Shouldn't even be in the top 5, in my opinion. I think
I have Manny Machado on my fantasy team, and he absolutely has to be the biggest disappointment of the year. I drafted him first round. He fell to me at 10. I was ecstatic, and Machado's hitting like a crisp 220 with like a couple home runs and probably less than 30 RBIs if I had to guess.
It's just a big name. It's a guy who has a big name.
It's a guy that this is all this is. This is fan vote.
Yeah.
Jose Ramirez, it's actually encouraging to see people like Cozart as the starting shortstop, because that's not a popular guy, but that shows you that people actually.
But that's the guy
slight bit of attention to baseball.
Mm-hmm. All right, over at shortstop, Francisco Lindor, followed by
I have Correa over Lindor now.
Oh, you do? Oh, wow.
Which is how it should be.
I have him like 150,000 votes behind.
Yeah, Correa's ahead of Lindor by, let's say, 150,000. So, but I do think Correa is having a better season than Lindor so far, with like respectively Gregorius, Bogarts, and Tulowitzki going after that, all having good years, but just not at the level of Correa and Lindor right now. Yeah,
Bogarts can't really get it going. Doesn't have the pop in his bat that he had last year. Gene Segura, decent. Didi Gregorius, he's been having a really good year for the Yankees. Defensive stalemate for the Yankees. He's been doing really well, but I don't think he'll sneak his way out of the lineup unless he has a monster outing for up until the All-Star break. DH, because they have DH in the AL. We got Nelson Cruz leading the way. That's a guy. That's a guy you pay to see. I mean, if you
he should be there. I have 1 through 5. I have Cruz, Holiday, Dickerson, Encarnacion, and Gaddis. I like Cruz, definitely deserving of the starting DH spot. Matt Holiday has a resurgence in the Bronx. Corey Dickerson actually is having a really good year, and then Encarnacion and Gaddis are kind of just names. I don't think Encarnacion's actually playing that well this year.
No, Encarnacion's kind of fallen off after leaving. Kind
of like a Machado kind of season. So
pretty much. Evan Gaddis, I think he's only in there because he doesn't wear batting gloves.
And hits absolute nuke shots. So
I think people are tired of the pussification of the MLB. I think they want to see a man's man. Somebody who doesn't wear batting gloves and used to work as a janitor is their guy. Right. In the outfield, we got Aaron Judge leading the way. The guy is a beast. Mike Trout.
Not gonna hop on the Aaron Judge dick riding, but definitely having a good year.
I mean, hey, listen, I'm still a Red Sox fan through and through. But Aaron Judge is
scary guy to face.
Yeah, definitely a scary guy to face in the lineup. Not a good day to be a pitcher when Aaron Judge is hot. Mike Trout coming second.
So, which I guess that's more of a name vote. Mike Trout's obviously having a good year, but he's injured. He has like a torn thumb ligament, hasn't played since like the start of June. So
yeah, but you can't deny he's one of the best, or if not the best.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that if we're voting on true talent, a guy whose roster spot is probably going to have to be taken by somebody else shouldn't be second. But that's just a
I didn't even catch this. I didn't even peep this. Andrew Benintendi at the 6th spot in the outfield.
No, I have him at 9
All right,
now.
well, that was nice while it lasted. Michael Brantley.
Because I have Brantley at 4. I think you have him at 3.
I have him at 3. So is Mookie Betts at 3?
I have Springer at 3, then Brantley, then Betts, then Garcia.
I think 3 through 8 or 3 through 9 really. Actually, after the 1 and 2, I think every spot's really close and it could go either way.
I like 1, 2. I like the starting outfield so far based on this season. I think should be Judge, Springer, and Betts, with Brantley close to follow, and then Trout, and then Garcia having a good year just won't make the roster. But I don't think Trout's gonna be able to play in the All-Star game anyway. So I just think having him there is just like a figurehead right now.
Yeah, definitely. I can hop on board with that. Pitchers, you want to see? I like Chris Sale, obviously. I also like
Chris Sale. I probably would go with Keuchel for the starter.
Yeah, I like.
He's having a good year.
Yeah, his ERA is.
He's injured right now though, but if he's back in time.
Yeah, well, if you're gonna stay consistent, Sean, you got to let Sale start.
No, but Mike Trout has a torn thumb ligament. Dallas Keuchel has like a bum shoulder. He'll be back.
Well, I mean,
Mike Trout had surgery on a torn thumb ligament. Dallas Keuchel could just need some time.
That's true. You're gonna need your shoulder to pitch. You're gonna need your thumb to play the outfield. They both need to get healthy in order to really make a difference in these.
Yeah, just the point I'm making is if I break my ankle and I get ankle surgery, or I step on a rock and roll my ankle, one of them is going to take a considerable less amount of time.
All right. Who do you have winning the home run derby?
I don't know. We don't have contestants. I'd like to see Judge, but I don't want him to go in there and ruin his swing. So that's what I have to say about that.
I think they're going to let Yoenis Cespedes in again. He's going to win it again.
Hot take.
Hot take. Definitely a hot take. Also, one of the MLB All-Star Games events that doesn't get talked about that I'd like to bring up, celebrity softball. Who's your MVP?
Bro, who the fuck cares, bro? Give me Dwayne Johnson. I don't know, bro. Just give me anybody. It could be anybody.
I don't like to hear that. All right. I take the
celebrity
softball team pretty seriously. The last 2 years, Ricky Henderson's been on a tear. Kevin James, when he was in it, stole the show. So I think this year,
softball body.
Yeah, I think this year, throw in kind of a monkey wrench. I think it's going to be Michael Jordan, but not the basketball player, the actor from Apollo.
All right, bro.
Okay, he's more of a basketball guy.
When it's
the
All-Star game is in Miami, give me Dwayne Johnson. I'm logging off this thing. That was a great episode of Heating Up Podcast.
All right, that was a great episode of Heating Up Podcast. As Sean said, we're your hosts. I'm Dan. That's Sean. We're signing off for today.
Do another podcast later this week. Stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned. Many more to come. And peace.